The United States now has more people without work than jobs available.
Get a job. Okay, I got a part-time job, but I still can't afford food. Will you help me? Work full-time then.
I just worked a 12-hour shift in the operating room, and I cannot afford my rent.
Everything that we need to survive is being hiked up astronomically.
If you're in a room with 10 people, 8 out of the 10 people are likely in severe debt.
Isn't it crazy that if you're poor in America and you make too much money, you get thrown off of government assistance?
The United States is the only country in the world where poor people fight against unions.
No benefits, no promotions, no nothing, probably no college education.
3% merit increase is essentially a pay cut in today's.
Oil and rotate the tires on your emotional support F-150. I know you can't do it yourself. That's right, nobody, because everybody's gotten a better job.
You have a job, you work hard every week, but your bank account tells you a whole different thing. Man, you're probably on below 25, which is you owe the bank. That's what a lot of Americans are living today. Man, the cost of living crisis, it's insane right now. The job market crisis, it's insane. And now they're talking about the food. Have you guys noticed that? You better not eat some green, because right now, a lot of things is not right. They're attacking our food, taking our jobs, making us go broke. And if we go broke, it will cost more. What do they want from us? You gotta let me know down below the comment. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe, comment, and hype me up, hype me up, hype me up. All right, Biggie. Let's check out this video.
Isn't it crazy that if you're poor in America and you make too much money, you get thrown off of government assistance? But if you're a corporation, and corporations are apparently people, the more money you have, the more money the government will give you, and they'll make you too big to fail.
Trying to talk to the other side right now is so fucking difficult. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, we're literally at a point right now where a bunch of low and middle class people genuinely believe that rich billionaires deserve billions of dollars in tax breaks. However, taxes should not go to feeding the poor. Like, rich people should get more money and the poor should starve. Like, the fuck am I supposed to say to that? Like, I shouldn't be having to sit here and try to concoct the perfect statement to make you get that we should be feeding people who can't do it themselves. People that are working full time and still have to rely on food benefits should still get those benefits so that they can fucking live their lives. Like, I shouldn't have to sit here and try to put together a statement to make you understand that while you're actively sitting here cheering on that billionaires got billions of dollars in tax breaks. Like, fuck you.
The United States now has more people without work than jobs available. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has had his most lucrative year ever. Man, Buddy's just using the presidential office to enrich himself. If you have a job in this economy, hold on to it for dear life, because the streets is colder than a polar bear's toenail, and Donald Trump don't give a damn.
Hey, I'm hungry, but I can't afford food. Will you help me? Get a job. Okay, I got a part-time job, but I still can't afford food. Will you help me? Work full-time then. Okay, I found a full-time job, but now I lost my health insurance because I make too much. I still can't afford food. Will you help me? No, stop being lazy and get a better job then. Go to college or something. Okay, I took out loans and I went to college like you said, but now I have a bunch of school loans I have to pay back on top of my health insurance. I still can't afford food. Will you help me? It was your choice to take those loans out. Get a job and pay them off like the rest of us. Okay, I was one of the lucky few to get a job in my field after graduating, but now I have to pay for student loans, my health insurance, I lost my food stamps because I make too much, and they take more money out of my paycheck for taxes. I still can't afford food. Will you help me? No, we won't. Well, on one condition. What condition is that? Pop out a kid. What? You're a single person household. We don't really care about you, but if you have a baby, suddenly we have way more assistance available for you. So you're saying I only deserve food in this country if my body is either A, performing labor, or B, in labor? That's correct. Okay, this system seems really broken. No, it's not broken. It's working exactly how we designed it to.
Hey! So I work in the operating room, and I just worked a 12-hour shift in the operating room, and I cannot afford my rent. I can't afford my rent. I can't afford gas. I can't afford groceries. I can't afford any of my endless other bills. that I am responsible for because I am an adult. After working a 12-hour shift in the operating room. So you know what I have to do? I have to DoorDash, and it's 12:30 at night. After I've been on my feet in the operating room for 12 hours all day. I'm now out.
Mortgage rates are astronomical. Car rates, astronomical. Everything that we need to survive is being hiked up astronomically. It's almost like they're trying to get rid of the middle class. But why would they do something like that? Why would a country not want its citizens to be well-fed, well-educated, and thriving? I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe we just crumble this economy to the ground. Let's hoard every single cent that we possibly can. Keep it out of the banks. I don't know, and let's just see what happens. Anyone have any other plans? Because I know personally, I live very modestly. This right here, this is not my home. If you watch my other videos, you'll see my home. Watch the one right before this. That's my kitchen. I'm an artist, but I also have plenty of other work. And I do all right. Our family is making more money than we've ever made. We don't even qualify for any assistance anymore. Lucky us. But guess what? Now we also can't afford healthcare. And now, turns out, we also can't afford to pay our student loans back. We've been paying on those for years. But I just found out that they hiked mine up because we make more money now to a price that we can't afford. Hundreds of dollars because we make so much more money now. Almost like they want us to be poor. Because then at least we'd have some health care and could afford to pay off our student loans.
Welcome to the harsh truths that you don't want to hear but need to hear. If you're in a room with 10 people, 8 out of the 10 people are likely in severe debt. And I got the data to back it up. Average debt in America is over $66,000. And each student loan borrower, might I add, only 11% use their degree, have an average of $38,000 in student loan debt. And to top it off, the average household has over $36,000 in car debt. And I honestly think that the numbers are higher than this, that this is being modest. And if you see here, over 77% of Americans are in debt. But yet when you go on these apps, everyone's flaunting their designer bags, shoes, purses, their rented places that they live in, their lavish vacations. Where is all the money coming from? Probably coming from loans or credit cards. Because according to this study, most of us are in debt and poor and should not even be going on vacation.
A 3% merit increase is essentially a pay cut in today's economy because the average inflation rate in the United States from 2021 to 2025 has been hovering around about 4.5%. So if you're getting a pay increase of 2 or 3% every single year, you are losing money. You're essentially becoming more poor every single year, really day by day. So when your manager acts all excited for you and you get and exceed expectations and they give you this awesome merit increase of 3%, they're not doing you any favors. The company's not doing you any favors. You're literally losing money. The pay increases that these companies are giving people are not keeping up with today's economy, and people are just becoming more poor. Middle class is slowly declining because people cannot keep up with inflation, and jobs just aren't paying enough, and raises just aren't enough anymore. So something has to give. There's going to be a bursting point where people just simply cannot afford to live, and something's going to have to be done. Either pay increases are going to have to go up substantially, or the economy is just going to have to make a massive turnaround. There's no other way around it. And that's just the direction that we're all headed, unfortunately. Statistics don't lie. And especially if you work in the corporate industry, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you get these stupid performance reviews every single year and these worthless merit increases from a job that really should be paying you more for your time.
The United States is the only country in the world where poor people fight against unions. Free healthcare, free education, all because rich people told them to. I need y'all to think about that. You can't afford your rent. Your deductible is higher than your credit score. Your student loans are built like a mortgage. But somebody with 3 houses and a boat said, "You don't want government help." And you said, "Yeah, you're right." See, you would rather struggle on principle. You would rather rub 2 pennies together in hopes that they become a nickel than admit that collective bargaining works. but you'll clock in mad every day for a paycheck. But when somebody says union, you break out in hives. That's not independence, folks. That's conditioning. And the wildest part of it all, the rich never turn down benefits for themselves. They just convinced you that you should. I need you guys to start connecting the dots.
Oh, you should just go get a better job. Who will flip your burger for you? Who will take your fucking order at the restaurant? Who will change the oil and rotate the tires on your emotional support F-150? I know you can't do it yourself. That's right, nobody, because everybody's gotten a better job. Everybody now works in coding, except they don't have jobs now either. The goalpost keeps going that way. This stupid myth of yours that low-wage labor is low-skill labor is ridiculous. I'd love to see you brew coffee at the speed I see baristas do it. I'd like to see you tirelessly labor like I've seen Amazon workers do it. You can't because you're a bitch. Low-skill labor is a fucking myth made up by rich people to get you mad at people who also work as hard as you do instead of the people who own everything. You brain-dead fuck. If you work a job, you should be able to live, especially when you're doing 50 hours a week. You should be able to live off of 30 hours a week. Do these people ever fucking hear themselves? Everybody deserves food, everybody deserves shelter. I actually don't give a fuck if they work. These are human needs. Human needs should be fulfilled, especially when we're more than capable of fulfilling them. We can give everybody shelter, clothes, food, water, quality education, and free healthcare, and anybody who tells you otherwise is either being intentionally dishonest, they're dumb, or they have a vested interest in making sure these things aren't provided to you because they profit off of them. Listen to the people who tell you that we can't do universal healthcare. Listen to them. Listen to what they own. Listen to the companies they're invested in. The parasitic private health insurance companies that literally live off of denying you healthcare. And it's so funny, for universal healthcare in particular, I'll just say this. It's very rich to hear people say, I don't want to pay for other people's healthcare. When you already do that. That's how insurance works. The entire private insurance industry is held up by healthy people paying their premiums and not really taking much back, so that people who need surgeries can get them. Except guess what happens instead of the person actually getting the life-saving surgery they need? The money that you, the healthy person, were supposed to pay to the other person just goes into a rich executive's pocket. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Everybody deserves shit. All right, that's it.
Why do Americans complain the most about like the economy and, not being able to find jobs? But if I call up DoorDash right now, an immigrant is pulling up. It's like the first ones to complain are the Americans, but they just want it easy. They just want quick money. They're not actually willing to work. If they were, they would go out and do DoorDash. They would go out and do Uber. They would go out and do all these jobs that immigrants are doing.
Old people in the United States thinking that you can work at one job for 40 years with no benefits, no promotions, no nothing, probably no college education, because a lot of them did not have to get a college education to get a good job. The fact that so many of them truly believe in their heart that you can do that for like the majority of your career, okay, what they would call a career, and you can afford multiple kids and a house and a boat and a little cottage to go away for in the summertime is genuinely fucking hysterical to me. They're so dead serious when they tell you this shit too. Like there is not an ounce of humor when they're talking to you about it. They're like, no, like if you just do this, you'll be totally fine. Like it's not a hard formula to understand. And then you'll tell them like, well, actually, thanks for the advice, but I've literally been on Sprout looking for jobs all fucking week because my current one is only paying, basically minimum wage, and then my rent is this and my car payment is that, and I also don't have health insurance because the job doesn't offer it. And they're like, wait, why would you leave the job? Don't do yourself a favor, okay? Don't ever tell somebody over the age of honestly like 65 years old at this current moment that you're leaving a job, because you don't want to be part of that conversation.
Whenever we talk about the ultra rich and how they're hurting American working people, there are always a few comments saying, no, you're not poor because of rich people. You're poor because of your own decisions. You're not poor because of the decisions of the rich. And it made me really think about it. It made me realize, no, we really are poor because of rich people. The ultra rich have bribed politicians for decades to deny us universal health care and to keep the U.S. federal minimum wage artificially low. The ultra rich bribe politicians to create tax codes with loopholes only they can use. The ultra-rich underpay their workers and kill any attempts at unionization. Then they bribe politicians to stop any pro-labor legislation. And because they underpay their workers end up on welfare, meaning we all pay for billionaires' greed. The ultra-rich bribe politicians to kill immigration reform because it's cheaper for them to hire undocumented workers hurting undocumented people and American workers. A billionaire pollutes more carbon in one day than a working person pollutes in a year, and then billionaires bribe politicians to kill renewable energy, stopping good-paying jobs and contributing to the climate crisis. More of our tax dollars go to corporate subsidies than go to SNAP benefits, and worst of all, they've managed to convince many working people in this country that our enemies are the hungry and the poor, while their faces are stuffed. My friends, we are poor because they are rich, and it doesn't have to be this way.
Someone please explain to me why the minimum wage isn't equivalent to the minimum cost of living? Like, isn't that the point of a minimum wage, is that it's the bare minimum? And isn't the bare minimum survival? And I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, I make minimum wage and I do just fine. I have housing, I have savings, I have all these things. Were you never relying on your family for anything? Have you never lived with your family as an adult? Have you never had their support? Because the state of this economy right now, and especially with how bad the job market is that most young people, most of Gen Z cannot get by without support from their family. Most of us are depending on our family for housing, for additional money support. Even when we have our own jobs, our lives are often dependent on other people helping us. Things are so bad for Gen Z and for millennials in this economy that the vast majority of us are dependent on the inheritances of our grandparents and of our parents to have any hope at ever having financial stability. That's where we're at. And the other piece of where we're at is that 40 to 60% of homeless people in America are employed. And imagine how much higher that percentage would be if people were all kicked out of their house automatically at the age of 18. If people were not allowed to get support from their family for housing, for money, we would all be homeless. Being able to have support from your family, to be able to live with your family, is a privilege as an adult, and it shouldn't have to be. It shouldn't have to be that that's the only way that we can live.
You cannot live any form of a good life on anything less than like $13,000 a month take home after tax. Why is credit card debt at an all-time high? Because to live a normal basic life requires $10,000 a month for a singular human. And now if you go get married and have kids and you have childcare, it's like triple that. What is a trip to Disney? Like 10 grand? Dude, what? A bowl at Chipotle is like $22. You go to Cava, it's like $19. Like, bro, what? I remember it was like $8 when I was in college. Everything is stupidly more expensive. In 2019, we lived in downtown Tampa, Harbor Island, super nice place. It was $1,800 a month. That same place now is like $4,200 a month. Same place. It wasn't renovated or anything. It's just inflation.
So I put up a video not too long ago talking about how it costs money to go to work, and a bunch of people got in my comments and made duets with my video talking about something. You can just use your feet. You don't have to have a car. You're just being lazy. Great, I'm using my feet right now and ain't even no sidewalk to continue walking. There's no crosswalk to get across this highway entrance exit ramp right here. I'm literally just standing here trying to figure out how am I supposed to cross this highway exit entrance area to get across the street. The only thing that made that safe today was that it's Saturday, so it's not crowded. But on a regular work morning or regular work afternoon, if I'm trying to walk home, there are places that are actually dangerous to be on foot. And I'm tired of Americans acting like we have good pedestrian infrastructure. There's so many places throughout the South where I grew up that did not have sidewalks, and y'all know this. There are neighborhoods that don't have sidewalks. It's insane to me. I didn't even know that was real until I saw it. There are neighborhoods that don't have sidewalks. So you just gotta walk in the street. That's insane. So stop acting like, oh, the US is set up for you not to have a car. Oh, you can just take public transit. Where's the bus at next to your house? Go ahead, show me where the bus is to your house. All y'all that think, oh, you don't have to have a car, you can just take public transit across the nation. Show me in your rural country town how you gonna catch the bus to work. And the only reason why I'm being so adamant about this is because people, 40% of people have to commute because they couldn't find a job by where they live. And that's not good. People can't work near their house because there aren't as many options anymore. The United States doesn't have factories. We're not in a good place, y'all. So please stop acting like, oh, it's so easy to find work. Oh, it's so easy to go to work. Oh, it's so cheap to get to work. It's a lie, and it's making the problem in the United States worse because people keep lying or believing the lie. Y'all have a good day.
A dream job? A dream job. So you mean to tell me it's a dream having your salary capped? You're not making any more, you're not making any less. It's a dream to work under someone for the rest of your fucking life? It's a dream to only get 2 weeks off a year? It's a dream to slave all the way to work and then only have like 5 hours each night for yourself? And that's if you're lucky. That's if you don't work in fucking banking. It's a dream to work like 9 hours a day and never see your friends or family? It's a dream to have HR breathing down your neck and watching your every fucking move? It's a dream not being able to save a dime at the end of the month because your entire salary goes to everything except yourself. And you're basically just existing. You have $0 in the bank. 0. It's a dream to kiss somebody's ass just for the potential of your salary being raised. It's a dream having your mediocre salary taxed over 50%. I mean, we can't be serious. Like, is any of this even fucking, like, this genuinely, this is literally the reality of America. Like, and we all choose to fucking be blind. Like, let's all fucking wake up, people. That's not a fucking dream. That's a fucking nightmare. Call it what it is. It's a fucking nightmare. Sorry.
You wanna know something that's really fucked up about America? I'm 39 years old. I am a healthcare worker. I'm a respiratory therapist. I've been a respiratory therapist for, I don't know, almost 15 years. And I'm a mom of 5. I've been with my current employer for 5 months, even though I have a long established work history. And my oldest son was recently diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he's 18. I've spent the last 2 weeks inpatient with him at the University of Michigan Mott Children's Hospital. He has a 10-centimeter mediastinal mass. He had a 1-liter pericardial effusion. That's fluid that had built up around his heart from the inflammation caused by the cancer that he had to have drained. He had multiple panic attacks while in the hospital due to different procedures. And we were supposed to have his graduation party tomorrow, July 13th. And instead, I brought him home yesterday to recover from his first chemo. And he has to go back weekly, either for labs and blood transfusions or for his biweekly chemo sessions. My husband is like a part-time contractor. He was partly disabled through COVID. But good luck getting that covered with disability because long COVID barely exists in the eyes of the medical establishment. And so instead, he's become like the stay-at-home dad, and I'm working full-time. When I informed my employer of the situation and did some research, I found out I don't qualify for FMLA, the Family Medical Leave Act, because I haven't been with my employer for a year. So I searched through my employee handbook to see, well, do I qualify for any other kind of medical leave to, number one, secure my job, which has the income and insurance my family needs, since I'm the primary income earner. And I saw that they did, that they have an 8-week leave that they grant employees who don't qualify yet for FMLA. Wonderful. They've been a wonderful company to me so far. When I submit that to HR, I get a response that I don't qualify for medical leave because it doesn't affect me personally. The medical leave they offer is only for you, not for you to care for a family member. And so after sending them a response that's basically, I don't know how I'm supposed to return to work after my PTO runs out, which was only, I had just under 2 weeks because I had taken a day, the day that my son was admitted to the hospital. We were at his college orientation when we got the ultrasound results back that he had a mass. It was extended up to behind his thyroid. And he admitted to me that he was having chest pain and other symptoms that he had been basically hiding from me. And we went directly to the ER. So never called out. I've been an exceptional employee. But hey, because my government does not provide for a more comprehensive FMLA that absolutely should not only apply to people who have been at their employer for a year, that absolutely should be covered, because I already knew that anything beyond my PTO would be out of my pocket. So I had to start a GoFundMe because I thought, okay, how in reality am I going to pay for everything and continue my income and also take care of him? These are the things that working class American families have to figure out on their own, have to give up all their dignity and beg for money on GoFundMe just so that we can keep a roof over our heads and food on our table. And I can already feel like the welfare rap boomer hater people saying, oh, well, you know, you should have had a plan in place. You should have had this. You should have had savings. I know, but like I live in this world right now. I live in this post-COVID world. COVID tore our world apart. COVID likely caused his cancer. Let's be real. Epstein-Barr is a common virus that like unlocks epigenetically Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm sure one day, probably not too far from now, they'll find out that COVID does the same. But the lovely social workers at Mount Children's Hospital said, listen, you know, you said that you have short-term disability coverage through your employer. Why don't you see if you can get a stress leave of absence? I'm like, oh, what? She said, you seem pretty stressed out. I said, that's the understatement of the century. She said, talk to your primary care provider, your therapist. Like I have time to go to a therapist. I work full time and I have 5 kids. Oh my God. So today, the first day fully home out of the hospital, I had a video visit with my doctor. Who wouldn't clear me for more than 3 weeks. She's kind of a hard ass. And she was like, I told you to get established with a therapist because you have anxiety. I said, I'm going to just level with you, doc. I wanted to, but the only place that I could find locally that was accepting new patients requires 6 weeks of outpatient therapy before you can see their psychiatrist. And I've been on a wait list for months. It doesn't matter which way you turn. It is so hard to get the help and the care that you need, no matter how hardworking you are. I am so incredibly hardworking and always have been. But this is what I'm up against. I now have to face the fact that I'm going to have to go back to work before I'm ready. I'm going to be expected to give the same that I gave before this whole ordeal began. I'm going to have to take a day off a week to take my son for treatment that's going to be unpaid. Where is the support system? Where is the safety net? Our politicians take all the money and they leave us here scrounging, like barely above, just like with our nose just above the water.